All right. Great evening, great evening, great evening. It's Monday, and I am checking in with you for another episode of Men Your Business Monday. Today's topic is JellyRoll. So, JellyRoll, if you don't know who he is a singer slash rapper who has blown up over the last couple of months, and he has been allegedly using the name Jelly Roll without getting prior consent or authorization. So last month, I'll give you all details, but a trademark infringement lawsuit was filed against him for his name. And I want to talk about it because I know I get on here a lot and talk about trademarks, and we don't really understand the importance of having it, what it is. And I have a question here on TikTok. Do you know how to do a trademark search? Because a simple trademark search would have definitely solved a lot of his issues when it came down to operating and selecting a stage name, right? So oftentimes we get a nickname that someone gives us and we just kind of run with it. But the problem is once you become kind of like an overnight success, or once you become super popular, if that name is already owned or somebody already has claimed that name, then you just can't go out and say, this is what I'm going to be doing, especially when you're signing deals, signing contracts, and doing different things under that particular name in the public eye. So I'm going to share this live stream out before I jump into this topic. But if you are on TikTok, I want you to answer this question for me. Do you know how to do a trademark search? Okay. If you're on Instagram, you could type it in the chat as well. Do you know how to do a trademark search? I feel like the reasons why we don't is because we don't know how, right? We don't check for a trademark. We don't see if a name is trademark. We don't see if a name is previously owned because we don't know how. So today, I'm going to talk to you about how you can actually do a trademark search just so that you can kind of clear yourself of any issues like this in the future. Now, essentially, when you get big, rich, and famous, you should have a legal team. Come on now. You should have a legal team. You should have a team of people who can honestly do this research for you and let you know, baby, we got to make a change or be prepared to go to court and fight this out. So before I get into details again, I'm sharing it. If you have 2 seconds, you can share it too. I'm going ahead and sharing on Instagram right now. Then I'll circle back and share on TikTok in just a second. I'm clicking this share button over here. I think I finally got it figured out. I always struggle with this TikTok situation. So let me see here. Let's see who's here. Let's see who's online. Let's see who's tuned in. All right, all right, all right. Let's see. All right. So those invites have been sent out. Let's see who's in here. Hey Reggie, hey HG, hey Tawana, hey DJ, hey Red Cup Boys. What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. So again, if you guys know who JellyRoll is, I'm gonna talk to you about him in just a little bit. I got my fact sheet here. Hey cousin, my cousin Sasha just jumped in the chat on Instagram. Who's on TikTok? Let's see who's on TikTok tonight. Reggie EQ, shout out to my guy Reggie EQ for already dropping some roses in the chat. I appreciate you. And thank you for the hundreds on Instagram. So here, listen, JellyRoll has blown up overnight. He is a singer slash rapper, big boy, got a lot of finesse, got a lot of swag. He's come out with some hits. I'm not going to talk about that too much, but I want to get into the fact that he honestly, from what I can say, has become an overnight success. He went from being somebody who we moderately knew to being like big man on campus in a very short period of time. Now, the problem is that JellyRoll has already been trademarked by a band operating out of Massachusetts since 2010. Okay? So this particular band, JellyRoll, trademarked the name back in 2010, and they recently renewed the trademark in 2019. So if you were not familiar with a trademark is the only way to own your name, your likeness, your presence, right? Until you file a federal trademark and the USPTO grants you permission to use this particular name or slogan or catchphrase, you don't own it. So it doesn't matter how long you've been using it. As long as it's not trademarked, anyone can use it and anyone can do what they will with it. Once it's trademarked and you're given exclusive ownership or exclusive rights to that particular name or catchphrase or whatever it is, that logo, that design, once you own it, you have a responsibility to make sure if someone tries to use it without your permission, that you do what you have to do. And that essentially means taking them to court and telling them to stop. So you'll have the trademark, you get the information, you'll have everything showing that you own it and you have access to it, and you do have to renew it every 10 years or so. So back in 2010, they filed this trademark and they renewed it back in 2019, meaning they're good and clear for another 10 years, right? So essentially, or however long, from 5 years, 10 years, however long they renewed it. So essentially, once he started to get big, popular, famous, and JellyRoll started to move it forward and do business, whatever that particular name, he's infringing on those trademark rights because they did not give him permission to use the name. This band has owned it since 2010. So they're like, hold up, wait a minute. How are you out here becoming rich and famous with a name that we own? So what can happen in this particular situation is that they will file a lawsuit, which is what they did. They filed a lawsuit, and they're of course going to seek some kind of legal damages and accommodation. And at this point, they can say, hey, you have to change your name and you have to rebrand your whole entire name and image. Or they might say for a certain price, you can continue to have it, or you can have the trademark if you decide to pay us a number that is fair. So they're going to have to go to court to speak and figure out whatever the terms are going to be for this name, right? Now, because they own it, they pretty much have the upper hand in this case, right? This band in Massachusetts, they have the upper hand in this case because they own the name. They filed the trademark first. So if you don't know, there's maximum penalties. Like there's a certain number, dollar amount that you can be fined per infringement for a trademark. So depending on how you're using the name and how they have owned and trademarked the name under what categories, they have different penalties and fees associated with every single infringement on a trademark. So by getting a trademark and having it, you are essentially establishing a brand asset or a valued brand endorsement for yourself by having it, right? This now has a cash value. This now carries currency. This now is a bargaining and negotiation tool for your brand. So even if you're saying to yourself that your business is not necessarily a big business, or your music is not a big, people don't know you yet, or you don't see yourself being this big name artist, you having and owning a trademark for yourself can establish you in a place where you have negotiation leverage and you now have assets for your business. So when I talk about trademarks in this way, this band from Massachusetts has been doing their own thing for a long time. But just because this person now who has started to operate with this name has become a lot more popular and a lot more famous in the public eye, he's going to have to pay a fee or come up with some arrangements and agreements to use this name with this particular owner, with these owners, or he's going to be forced to do a complete name change and brand if they don't come to an agreement. That is so expensive. So there's a bunch of artists that you might know that have had this similar situation take place where they had to revamp or change the names that they were operating under because they did not own those names. And when they went down to court and they got in front of that judge said, hey, they have a trademark. So it's not a whole lot that you can do. Either you're going to have to pay them a number that they feel is fair to buy this trademark from them, or you're going to have to come up with some agreements and terms, or you're going to have to rebrand and change your whole entire name. So whenever we have an artist, or whenever you have an artist out there that has just randomly decided to change their name into something completely different from whatever they've been operating as all of this time, it could be because of issues with ownership, and that could do very well with the trademark. So now this puts you in a very uncompromising position, right? Because at this point in the game, once people know you as that, it's really hard for someone to stop calling you that. Think about your cousins. You have a nickname for your cousins and your auntie and your grandma, whatever. Once you're out in the public eye doing different things, it's really hard to turn that switch off and start calling this person something else. So what do you guys think? Do you think that it's going to be a situation where people can identify him and come up with a new concept for him and call him something else? Or do you feel like JellyRoll is JellyRoll and we're not calling him anything else? So you got to figure something out. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, because I'm kind of mixed. I have mixed reviews on this, okay? So the question that I have on here for you guys is, do you know how to do a trademark search? If you know how, let me know in the comments with a thumbs up. If you don't, let me know in the comments with a thumbs down. Say yes, thumbs up. I know how to do a trademark search. Thumbs down. I do not know how to do a trademark search. Girl, please show me, because I want to see if the name I'm looking to use is available. Okay? Let me know in the comments. Thumbs up, yes. Thumbs down, no. I do not know how to do it. Yes, I do know how to do it. Thumbs up. Let me know in the comments, whoever's here. Nope, he should did that paperwork properly. JellyRoll finna be smush roll because his ass is flat. Oh my God. Miss Simone said nope. He should have had a team. And honestly, I agree with you, right? I definitely agree with you. And we're gonna talk about that, right? So Star Baby, which is Tawana, gave us a thumbs down. So no, she does not know how to do a trademark search. Who else? Don't be shy. Listen, I'm not judging you. I'm here to educate you because I want us to do better. So, but I didn't even introduce myself, guys. I'm sorry about that. I wanted to get into this topic so bad because I'm so excited about it. And I would usually do a video for this, but I felt like jumping on the live stream and having more of an interactive discussion made more sense. So my name is Sky Harding. I am an international business consultant at BuildingSky Consulting Company. And over the last couple of years, we have serviced 800 clients, over 800 clients worldwide with my company, BuildingSky. And we help with copyrights, with trademarks, with business plans, registration, pretty much everything you need to start your business off the right way and to be able to own it, right? So I talk to all of my clients about trademarks and copyrights. Whether they choose to move forward with it or not, we always have a conversation. And before I do any business setups, registrations, conversations, the first thing I do is have a conversation about trademark clearance. So I'll say to them, hey, what name do you want? We'll have a discussion about it. I'll do all the clearance searches and say, yes, this is a go. We can move forward with this and we can trademark it in the future if you want to, or this is already owned by someone or conflicts with a current trademark and we cannot move forward with it. So every single one of the clients that I work with, at the time that we set up their business, I performed a complete trademark search first before setting up their business because I know what I'm doing, right? If there's any conflicts with a name, then I definitely have a conversation with you. Tawana, we just did this the other day. We had an idea, you had an idea for a business name, and we had to pivot. But at the end of the day, we were able to secure that, right? Able to lock that in. So at this point in time, before you even start to pursue something in the industry and be in the public eye, it's important to do a business or any kind of trademark search just to see what's available to you, right? So if you go into the database and you see the name is already owned, or if there's something similar already owned, I always say, let's try to do some changes and abbreviations and make something up or add something else onto it to separate it from that name that already currently exists. Okay. Out of all the trademarks that we filed with BuildingSky, there's only one that has not gotten approved so far. And that one didn't get approved because we couldn't provide proof that this business was operating prior to filing a trademark because they didn't keep adequate records, right? So that's the only reason why that one trademark did not get approved. But out of all the hundreds that we've done, every single one has gotten approved except for one. I think that means I know what I'm doing. Do y'all think so too? Do y'all think so too? Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Okay. So, hey, Kay. Kay, do you know how to do a trademark search? Because I'm going to drop these nuggets right here, right now. Flavor Love 777. Do you know how to do a trademark search? Mako Alonzo. Tammy, do you know? Lenny, do you know on TikTok? That's the whole facts. Tawana said, that's whole facts. This is why I'm working with you so I can be on point. Listen, being on point is so important because, again, the reason why, let's talk about this, okay? And then I'm going to tell you, so stay tuned with me, guys. I'm going to tell you exactly how to do a trademark search and also how to search to see if the name you're using is already being used online or the name that you want is being used online. I tell you how to do these things and do them with you during our first meeting before we can even establish what we're doing. That's the first thing we talk about because I want to make sure you are free and clear before we move forward paperwork. I don't want you with no issues and having any troubles down the line, right? So here's the thing. The reason why I started to be so adamant and so forceful when it comes to trademarks is because I've watched so many of my brothers and sisters have their businesses and their ideas stolen, right? Just because you're doing business in this particular way for so many years, it doesn't mean you own it. And our ancestors have been hoodwinked and swindled for so many years in a row because they thought that just because they owned that business and they had that storefront or they had that restaurant or they had that, that service that they provided on the side of their van or on their truck or on paper, that it belonged to them, that it was owned by them. And that's not the case, right? So because I've witnessed so many people get their ideas and concepts stolen, I made it my business to educate my people on how to own it, right? No, it's not fair. But if you play the game, play chess, don't play checkers, right? Be two steps ahead. Prepare yourself and prevent people from being able to take advantage of you the way that they did to our ancestors on so many occasions going back several hundred years, right? So we didn't know any better. We have inventors right now, African American inventors, creators who were never given credit, right? Who were never paid. That's the reason why we had to take Aunt Jemima off of the syrup because there was no money going to her legacy. It was all going to somebody else who owned that trademark, right? So because we don't know better, we don't do better. So I make it my business to talk to you about doing better because I truthfully want you to own what you build. And we can't pass a legacy down and leave an inheritance for our children's children's children if we don't own it, right? You can't pass down what you don't own. So yes, the website, having a website, that's real cute, right? Having your business email and all of that, that's real cute. But before you spend all of this money on social media ads and marketing and websites and things like that, file a trademark to own what you're going to be promoting, marketing. Because now this person in the public eye, JellyRoll, right, is in a very sticky situation. He's going to have to chuck up so much money to be able to buy this trademark if they're willing to sell it, right? That's a whole nother conversation. Or spend so much money on rebranding himself as someone else. And if you are someone like JellyRoll, you have the money to do it. It's not that big of a deal. But for the average everyday small business, you might not have the money to do a complete rebrand when someone comes to you and says, cease and desist, you cannot use this name anymore because it belongs to me. Right? So when I speak to my clients, the first thing we talk about before I file any paperwork is on that day, can we also file a trademark? Right? Is this name owned by anyone else anywhere else? Could it be a conflict for you anywhere else with any other business? That's the first thing we discuss. The first thing. And then I'll say, okay, what do you want to do? Once we say the name, okay, what do you want to do? So now I can cross reference for industries and see who else is doing business in this way that could be similar, right? It's always about doing that research first. So before I can tell you this, I can't tell you to spend money on, all this marketing stuff. And people do it all the time. I can't tell you how many people do it all the time. And then they don't own what it is that they're promoting, right? They don't own it. So, how do I do this? It's not rocket science. It's not super hard to do, but it can be very tedious because um each search that you put into the USPTO is going to pull up every single registered trademark that has relating areas or industries and relating names. It could be hundreds of thousands of applications. And you have to be able to know how to look through the Gazette to figure out what it is. So, right now is the time to get your pen and paper out, get your phone out, whatever you got to do to take these notes. If you want to search to see if a name is available before you just start to use it, before you start to build this idea out, you want to go to the uspto.gov. I'll say it again, uspto.gov. That is where all the actual registered federal trademarks of that are already in the system for the United States. Okay. Depending on where you are doing business, if you are not in the United States, you will have to go to the website for whatever country you are in. Okay. You can file trademarks in whatever country you feel like you might be interacting and doing business with, right? For a lot of my clients who are doing business overseas, I always recommend to file international trademarks as well, based on whatever they're going to be doing business or getting their vendors or services and things like that from, right? But for the United States, you go to the uspto.gov. There's a trademark tab that you can click on. And once you click on the trademark tab, you can click search trademarks. That is a public registry. It's called the Gazette. You can look at the Gazette and you can see what applications are pending, what applications are active, what applications have been canceled, abandoned, or dead. Okay? I'm not going to get into what each of those means. Just know that we can see what has been submitted, what is actually, being protected and enforced right now and is available, active, live on the website, and what is not. Okay, what has been canceled, abandoned, was dead, was active, what's alive, right? So by going on to that and searching it, you're going to type in that box, whatever it is you're looking or thinking about for your business name. You can search in the box for images. You can search in the box for literary elements, which is just words, right? Or pictures, right? So it's going to show you two different ways you can search. And when you pull up those searches, it's going to show you the pictures. It's going to also show you the words that could be similar to what it is you're looking into doing, right? So you have a way of now going in on the USPTO, looking at the Gazette, which is a public registry, to see what's there. Okay, it is not the hardest, but it's not the easiest, because you can get hundreds of thousands of search results and you have to be able to know what you're looking at. So that's when the dead, canceled, abandoned, live, active, that's when those come into play. So if you are someone who feels like you can do it on your own, knock yourself out. At least start there with doing that search. The other way you can search to see if the name is being used anywhere online is by searching the social media handles. I always tell my clients when we have our consultations, once we are getting ready to file paperwork and claim the domain and claim the email and get all this stuff together into the trademark search, I always say secure all social media handles. Even if you don't plan on using the platform, you never know what's going to become popular and what's going to become, the next big thing. So on every social media platform, you are going to secure the handle for whatever you're looking to do. That way you can exist as that person on all platforms. So you'll have the domain, you'll have a professional email, which is whateveryougot.com, right? And then you'll have your professional email you can set up, which is support info help at whateveryougot.com. And then you'll have the social media handles on all social media platforms, all those usernames for whatever you're doing. That is one way to secure it so no one else can have it. But even then, until you file that trademark, you do not own it. You can do all of that. And then someone can file a trademark, and yeah, you might have it, but you wouldn't be able to use it because somebody else has purchased and filed that trademark and went ahead and jumped the gun for you, right? So I always say that the best thing to do before spending all of this money on marketing and social media, especially because with AI technology now you can pretty much recreate everything. I always say it's super important to secure those trademark searches and get that information first. That's the most important thing for you to do, because I would hate for you to have to, later on down the line, rebrand. And that's probably what JellyRoll is going to end up having to do if they can't come up with some terms. This is a band in Massachusetts that's doing pretty good. And they're pretty much saying, I'm sorry, out of Philly. Okay, out of Philly. And they're pretty much saying that they've had this since 2010 and they're not looking to give it up. They performed for decades. I don't know if they're gonna be willing to give it up. If you did have a trademark and you did own a name and you had a celebrity who was looking to use it or was already using it, would you be willing to give it up? And if so, what's the price? Because that's the biggest thing. Are you willing to give it up? If so, what's the cost? What's the price that makes sense to you? Or are you telling this person, I don't give a dang how much money you talking? I've been using this name and I owned it since 2010. You on your own, buddy. What would you say? Right? What would you say? But I often tell my clients it's so much more expensive to do a rebrand and make all of these changes than it is to file the trademark once you set the business up or are thinking about setting the business up. Okay. When you are doing the trademark application, there is two ways you can go about it. You can go as a 1A, meaning right now I have everything I need to tell the USPTO that I have what I have, that I'm using it how I'm using it, and that I should be able to own it because I'm doing business with this already. Right? That's the 1A. 1A means I have everything ready right here, right now, and I want to tell the USPTO that I want to own it because I've been doing business like this for whatever period of time. Okay. The other option is a 1B. A 1B application means that I have an idea. I have something I'm thinking about doing, something in the works. And before I even start to get this information on paper, I want to file a trademark for it. And in 6 months or so, I'm going to have everything together so I can tell the USPTO exactly what it is that I'm doing and show them proof of what I have so I can have this trademark. So those are the two ways you can approach the application. Do you have everything right now, or are you thinking about it? So people always say to me, when's the best time to file? As soon as you can afford to, right? As soon as you can afford to, that's the best time to file. You don't want to wait until this name or this business has blown up to say, oh, dang, now I should own it. No, I always say including the trademark component should be included in starting your business, right? Even though the application is not going to be approved immediately, you'll have your registered business before you have the actual, trademark. But in being in the works and being in motion is still going to help protect you in the long run. Because as soon as your application is approved, anyone who is trying to infringe on your trademark rights, you can hire an attorney to send them cease and desist. And that just means, hey, listen, I see you using this name. I own it now. Stop using this. Stop doing this. Stop moving in this way with my name, or I'm going to seek legal action. I'm taking you to court. And that's exactly what I think is happening with JellyRoll. So you can't afford not to have a trademark. Everybody says, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. You can't afford not to. Because if you can afford to spend thousands on a website and professional photo shoots and all these videos, social media content, then you can afford to own what you're promoting. The trademark is an essential part of doing business. You can't pass down what you don't own. You shouldn't be promoting what you don't own. And oftentimes, you know, the people who don't have the trademark, they don't market and promote with their chest because they feel like at some point in time someone can take it. So a lot of the times you're only operating at 15, 20% because you're scared looking over your shoulder that somebody might take it. Right? So instead of you operating at 50% or 15% and being in fear, file the trademark to own what it is that you have. And then once you file it, you have to do your due diligence to make sure nobody else is trying to use that name and to impersonate you online, right? To infringe on your rights. You have to make sure that you are protecting yourself. There's some things right now that were once trademarked that people just kind of like let loose. I talked about it a couple months back. So Taco Tuesdays was owned by a taco restaurant. I can't think of the name of it right now. But Taco Tuesdays was owned for a long time by a particular company. And people started using it. Other restaurants started promoting Taco Tuesday. It became a big deal and a big thing. So much so that when Taco Bell is ready to do a Taco Tuesday campaign, they had to contact, Taco Mac, that's who it was. Taco Mac owned it. They had to contact Taco Mac saying, hey, at this point in time, you letting everybody use this thing, drop the trademark, bro, and let's just go ahead and do business like we have been doing on Taco Tuesday. And Taco Mac said, you know what? At this point, I'm fine with it. It's popular. Business is booming for me, booming for you. So why not? Right? But at one point in time, Taco Mac had to actively pretty much protect Taco Tuesday so that no one else could use it. And they're responsible for it being a phrase and a term and being as big as it is. But once something becomes so popular and once something becomes so significant, it's really hard to protect it and police it from that standpoint, right? So oftentimes things that are very common were once they weren't at one point in time. And because they became common and because they became consistently used, then the trademark restrictions kind of fell off, right? And that's what happens over the course of time. I talked about Lizzo a few months back, or maybe last year. Lizzo tried to trademark 100% that beat 8 times. and it kept being denied. Why? Because once she filed a trademark for 100% that B, it was already so widely used. People were already saying it all the time. It was all over social media. It went viral pretty much overnight. It took her 8 years to get this trademark approved. And finally, back in 2023, she got the trademark approved for 100% that B, and supposedly it's supposed to be coming out with some clothing. And I can't wait to see what happens with that. But essentially, I want you to understand that trademarks are leverage. It's an asset. It's a negotiation factor for your business. If you don't see it as anything else, it's protecting you, it's covering you, it's giving you exclusive and clear ownerships, and it's also giving you an asset that has a cash value. This band is going to make bank if they sell it. That is a asset that they can sell. It doesn't lose value as long as you're protecting it, right? It doesn't lose value as long as you're making sure that nobody else around you is using it all willy-nilly. So this is a cash value for you. And like I told you earlier, each infringement has a cost. So if he used this name in multiple ways, he's going to be sued for multiple infringements and going to owe them multiple checks if they choose to move forward with this in the way that they're doing. So I don't know exactly what they're asking for. All I know is they filed the infringement lawsuit last month. And at this point in time, they're going to have to go to court to see how this goes. But it's just, again, I want you to see the human factor in this. Even the biggest celebrities of the celebrities are making very simple mistakes. And doing these simple research, doing these simple things can make or break you in the long run, right? I talked about last month, Pharrell Williams and Chad Hugo, they just filed a trademark for Neptunes like a month or two ago. That is crazy to me. The Neptunes have been around for 30 years making hits, and they just decided recently to file a trademark because Pharrell wanted to make sure a third party didn't claim ownership of it. So we are dealing with some situations like where real big celebrities are having to now comprehend trademarks and how important they are. In this digital age, that is going to be one of the most important factors. Again, AI technology makes it very easy for people to duplicate and recreate not just you, your image, your name, your likeness, but even the way you sound, even the way you walk, the way you talk. Social media has made it so easy for people to pose and pretend. So you are doing yourself a disservice by not having and owning a trademark for your business. If you're going to spend thousands on marketing, spend that same amount of money and energy on owning it and making sure that you have access to it and that no one can take it from you. Because again, the cost associated with rebranding or having to fight a trademark litigation is so much more expensive than just filing the trademark application in the first place. I can't stress that enough. So if you're someone who's serious about not only having a business but owning it, you can't talk to me about generational wealth and leaving a legacy and we're not having a trademark conversation. We're not having a copyright conversation. We're not having an insurance conversation. We're not having a trust conversation. These are the only ways to claim ownership of your things and be able to protect it and pass it down. So until you own it, you can't share it. So if you were serious about it, I want you to go to buildingsky2.com and book a business bundle. The business bundle includes everything you need to start your business, a complete business registration, your operating agreement, your EIN number, your DUNS number, your BOI compliance form, a trademark, a copyright, a business address, business email, business phone number, and 2 months of coaching and consulting with myself or a BuildingSky team member. Okay, another established consultant who's going to be able to support you in whatever you're doing. This is not a fly by night conversation. We're going to be talking about this for the remainder of the time that you see me walking this face of this earth until we all understand the importance of a trademark. I've seen too many people have their ideas stolen. And the business bundle was created because I want you to start your business and I want you to own your business at the same time. I don't want to have to help you kind of scrape up what you need to file a trademark later on down the line. Let's do it in the beginning. Let's secure ownership right away. Let's establish this asset for your business right away. And that gives you a cash value. I have clients on here right now who filed trademarks and now they're able to use it as leverage when they sell their brand, right? When they sell their business, they're now able to include this in their negotiations. This is an asset, it's leverage, and it's protection for your business. So again, go to BuildingSky2.com, book your business bundle, start your business with this bundle, or you can also make changes. So if you already have a business in existence and you have not filed your reports, your compliances, you don't know what's going on with it, you don't know how to find it, you don't know how to update it, you don't even know where the compliances and the emails are going to, get on my calendar. You can use the bundle for that as well. We can make the changes, get you up to date, file the compliance reports, secure every single thing I talked to you about earlier today, and also get the copyrights and trademarks for your brand. Again, I can't talk to you about ownership and generational wealth and closing the wealth gap without talking to you about trademarks and copyrights. It's a part of the process. And we also have to establish the business, right? Because that's also going to protect you. Now you can have a business bank account, file business taxes, and separate this business from your personal situations. So if you as an individual has a situation with your finances, it doesn't impact the business and vice versa. If the business has an issue, personally, it's not affecting you, right? So we have to learn how to put these protective measures in place so that we can become better in business and so that we can pass this thing down. The only thing separating us from everybody else is information and the ability to do it. People say all the time, it's expensive. And so is that Gucci belt that you're wearing. So are those dinners you going to. So are those restaurants you eating at. So are those wigs and glasses and everything else you got going on. You're putting the money in places that are not going to be an asset. These are things that depreciate in value. A trademark is going to mean more as your business grows, right? Google has a trademark. Nike has a trademark. Walmart has a trademark. All of these companies. And as big as these businesses get, so does the value of those trademarks. Again, they're assets. They don't go down in value, they go up in value. And even if the business is not big, if something comes along like this JellyRoll situation, you could potentially sell this to the highest bidder and make money from this transaction. So again, it's leverage for you. I can't stress it enough. All right. So for Men Your Business Monday, I want you to get on my calendar. Again, BuildingSky, the number 2.com. Follow me on all social media platforms. I will repost this video when I'm done on all my platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, okay? If you're not following me, I need you to follow me and follow the business page, BuildingSky, the number 2 on every single thing. But get on my calendar today. Let's lock in that security for you. And I really hope that you guys understand the importance of this and are now more clear. Do we understand now how to do a trademark search? Thumbs up for yes. Thumbs down for no. Do we get it now? Were you yes? No? Are we here in the middle? We still not sure? If you're still not sure, that's even more reason to book a meeting with me. BuildingSky, the number 2.com. All right. So I've been chatting long enough. Don't be like JellyRoll. Let's just be proactive instead of reactive. And if you don't have a team of people around you who can help you in these ways, then you need to learn how to do it yourself. The information is out there. We are in the day of technology. We are in the day of pretty much everything at your fingertips, but you're going to have to press. You're going to have to press and make it your business to do what you have to do so that you can protect what you've built. Okay? So that's it for me. Again, my name is Scott Harding. I'm an international consultant with BuildingSky Consulting. And I will see you guys on Wednesday for Working on Me Wednesday, where we're going to be talking about mental health awareness in business. Okay? This is going to be another crazy conversation. I can't wait to talk about that because it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So if I don't see you on my calendar, then guess what? I'll see you on Wednesday right here on BuildingSky, the number 2. All right? Have an amazing evening, you guys. I will see you soon. Bye.